Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights reaction. Today I was going to be looking at Illuminate, but apparently Obi decided to post on his Twitter today that he had this song done and it's really good. So this is Antiphon of Agonies Old, and apparently is like a neoclassical gent kind of thing, and I'm really interested to hear what that combo sounds like. So we're going to be giving this one a listen, and I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. I know it's pretty short, but I don't really have too much time tonight anyway, so it's kind of a blessing in disguise for me. But I digress. Let's go. I forgot to mention that he did also say that there was an Obi choir, so just his own vocals scattered throughout. Ooh, haunting. Nice subtle dissonance on that first chord there. Ooh. Ooh. I love those tight chokes on the cymbals there. Pretty sure it was just a hi-hat, but adds a good punch, you know? Oh, he threw in Lacrimosa. All right. He said there was a Mozart reference. There it was. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, this riff is starting to dig into my soul a little bit. Ooh, ooh. I hope we get back to that riff. That was really solid. I love the layers of vocals on this. It's like a choir of the haunted and the damned, you know? Nice! This fantastic solo on top of everything, dude. Brilliant job on the blend here. All right, so with this one, I was actually more intrigued by the vocals that were happening throughout. So I can't fully tell what's being said here, and I don't know if the lyrics are public anywhere. I honestly didn't look, but I did go ahead and isolate the vocals to see if I couldn't figure out what was being said, at least during that later portion. I did listen to the vocals in like the little whispery sections at the beginning, and I couldn't quite make out what was being said. I think it might just be soft whispers of like random sibilants, just him saying S, you know, over and over again, just like stuff like that. Because I really can't make any heads or tails out of what words would be in between there, but it could just be the way it's mixed, kind of nestling things in and underneath other frequencies that ended up getting filtered out through this process. But I'm going to let you guys listen to see if you can't figure out what's being said here and see if we can't do something about that. So here's the very first chunk of vocals that happens, a lot of that whispering, and I'm just going to let it play and see what you guys can hear in here. I assume that that first chunk is probably just, like, there might be a word in there or two, but I think it's just vocalizing to me. It didn't really sound like there's any words being said specifically, and that happens throughout the other little whisper sections in the beginning and middle of this song. But then you get to the vocals later, and these are much more clear, but I couldn't quite make out what some of the words were, so I'm kind of curious to see if isolating these out might help somebody else with a better ear for that sort of thing figure them out in the comments. So let me know what you hear with this one. And there's definitely some warbliness in there. That's just part of the process. You can't like perfectly isolate out vocals this way. So there's some fragmentation happening throughout there and it makes things kind of difficult to hear. But all in all, I'm hearing something like, I will awaken the sorrow, I will awaken a hero, or something to that effect. Again, it's kind of hard to tell. That I will awaken part in the second stanza there might just be them saying something else and then another phrase being kind of plopped and layered on top of it. That layering is obviously really heavy in the vocals of this song, but I'm really curious to see what's actually being said there. I couldn't find, in between cuts, I did go and look, I couldn't find any lyrics that were posted anywhere, so I might have to ask Obi and see what he says, or if he happens to see this video. I'm really curious to see what's being said there specifically, and also what he's doing for the whispers. I've actually done something similar in the past, but I actually put in a little bit of like Easter egg stuff and said like goofy phrases in there as well, and I'm kind of curious if Obi did that. So at very least, I want to see what he says about that. The only other vocal thing I want to mention is, of course, that Lacrimosa nod. I loved that. He said in that tweet that there was a Mozart thing, and that's what it was. Gorgeous little twist on it there too, because he just kind of knocks it out. It goes really quick and then just dissolves into chaos. It almost felt like the original choir for Lacrimosa was like set up on an edge and then kicked right as they got to that phrase, like there was a panic to their voice to rush before they started to fall. And that is a really neat effect, especially when it's followed up immediately by this really heavy, delicious guitar. And I knew he was using some new plugins to play around with this time, because he mentioned it in his original post. He's using the Neural DSP plugins Archetype Nolly, which basically just mimics a very specific setup for the guitar amp and utilizes that sound and turns that into something that you can pipe your own input through to make it sound like said instrument. And he said that he left his Axe effects at home, which I know is a guitar preamp for effects, and I assume that's just mostly what he uses to make the effects for the guitar sounds that he usually gets, and just decided to try this other thing, and apparently was very pleasantly surprised and happy with the result, and I see why. That sound is so thick. There's like a guttural like sensation I'm getting off of this. It's got a lot of just like, it feels like puke, but in like a good metal kind of way, you know? Like, it's hard to put that into words and not sound weird, because in the metalhead mind space, you've got to like accept that weird phrases and comparisons are compliments in some ways. Like that, it just sounds so thick and just gross, but in the sexiest way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. And of course, he had a lot of fun with the drums in this one. I was hearing a lot of China cymbal, which is a great type of cymbal to just wail on for metal. You just rack into that so hard and just play your absolute mind out. I love playing on China cymbals when I play metal. I don't have one right now, but I did have one on my old E-kit, and it was so much fun to just lay into that thing and go to town. There's something about the power to that, and adding that to this song, because you can use any crash cymbal, but there's something about the way that a China just has a really characteristic crack that makes it feel so much more alive and present in a mix. The bass on this was very well mixed, very punchy, not a lot of reverb, was just a sock to the jaw constantly, and all those doubles playing through. This was a beautiful metal, delicious little pie. I don't want to stick my face in it. I'm getting weird with these analogies, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about, and that you understand that my weirdness is a compliment and not just me being weird, even though that's also a valid concern. I've actually been hearing a lot of songs recently doing this whole like neoclassical gent/metal blend, and I'm loving it, because it's one of my favorite things to take that traditional classical sound and just turn it completely on its head, give it a 180, and kind of challenge that norm. I love those expectations being crushed, and the way that it's approached by every musician is always a really fun discovery, because everybody has a different opinion of when or how to do that, like the Mozart bit in here with La Hermosa, just taking that and twisting it a little bit. And I love hearing everybody's different idea of what that should be as a musician. So I am loving this, and I'm sure I'll be loving more, and I do promise I'll be getting to Illuminate here very soon, but I had to hear what Obi had in store. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you know anything about those lyrics, if you can pick those out, please let me know what was being said there, if Obi doesn't beat you to it. And otherwise, if you like this video and you want to request something, go ahead and leave it down below. Just because I'm getting to Illuminate next does not mean that I'll be getting to nothing else after that. So, you know, hit me up with something. And otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!